Welcome back to Miss B Biology. This is a revision lesson on the topic of vaccination. So grab your book and grab your pen and let us begin. The lesson objectives are to 1. Explain how vaccines prevent illness in an individual, and 2. Explain how the spread of pathogens can be reduced in a population. Every cell has antigens on its cell membrane. Antigens are proteins. Each cell has a specific antigen. For example, we have 3 cells right here. That is the antigen for that cell. That's the antigen for that one and for that one. So the antigens are specific. If you notice, the shape of the antigen for each cell is different. Our body cells also have a unique antigen. So if these are cells from an individual's body, these orange circles now represent the antigen. Our immune system knows our antigen, right? So those are orange circles representing our antigen. These are the white blood cells of our immune system, and they are happy because they're in contact with antigens that they know. If a foreign cell were to enter our body, for example, bacterial cells with a different antigen, the immune system will interpret this as a threat and respond. Here is how the immune system would respond to the foreign antigens. The white blood cells, to be specific, lymphocytes, they would produce the specific antibodies needed to fight the pathogen. Remember, antibodies bind to the antigen of the pathogen and help to get rid of them. Some of the lymphocytes remain in the body. We call these memory cells. They can remain in the body for many years. If you were to be exposed to the same pathogen, your immune system would respond faster. It responds by making the right antibodies. These are made quickly to get rid of the pathogen. You wouldn't even know that you are infected. And this is when we say you are immune to the disease. Scientists created vaccines from the knowledge they have garnered about the immune system and how the immune system responds to pathogens. Vaccination is the introduction of a small amount of inactive or dead pathogen into the body. The presence of the introduced pathogens will stimulate an immune response. So the immune system will respond in the same way as when you were naturally exposed to pathogens. The white blood cells, to be specific, the lymphocytes, they will produce the specific antibodies needed to fight the pathogen. Memory cells will remain in the body for a long time, and if you were to be exposed to the same pathogen, your immune system would respond faster. If you have been practicing exam questions on the topic vaccination, you'll notice that this graph comes up quite often. What they will ask you to do is to state differences in antibody production after infection compared with after vaccination. And this is usually a 3 marker. And so you need to give 3 points. The first point is that the increase in antibodies begin sooner. Let's look at how long it took for antibodies to begin production after vaccination. Look at that line, the length of the line, and compare it with the length of the line for after infection. Way shorter line after infection, right? So the increase in antibodies begin sooner after infection compared to when the vaccine was given. The next point is that more antibodies are produced after infection than after vaccination, and this is quite evident. Look at how far this graph line moves up compared to after the vaccine. The last point is that the number of antibodies remain high for a longer period in the body, right? So right after vaccine, antibodies get to the peak. Quickly, it starts to fall. But look at after the infection. When it gets to the peak for antibody production, you can see that the number of antibodies remain high in the body for a longer period of time. Let us now look at the final concept, herd immunity. Herd immunity is when a large proportion of the population is immune to a disease. So people who are not immune, for example, this person right here, are less likely to come in contact with someone carrying the pathogen, right? So this is the person carrying the pathogen. This individual is less likely to come in contact with this person because the majority of the people in the population, they are immune to the disease. If the number of people vaccinated against a specific disease drops in a population, for example, we're only seeing 2 people vaccinated right here, the rest of the population would be at a risk of a mass infection, and you can see quite a few people are infected. People who are not immune are more likely to come across people who are infected and contagious, and we can see that in our little diagram right here. People might decide not to take a vaccine for many reasons. One, because of their age. Two, they might have health issues. And three, they just decide not to take it because they do not know if there are side effects. Did you achieve the objectives of the lesson? Are you able to explain how vaccines prevent illness in an individual? Are you able to explain how the spread of pathogens can be reduced in a population? Students, all you need to do is to practice some past exam questions to check your knowledge. Thank you so much for watching and all the best in your exams. Bye bye.